Once upon a time, in a circus far, far away, there was a guy who worked as a clown. People called him the Hunchback because he didn't have a real name. He had a tough life, like a punching bag, always getting kicked around. But he had a secret crush on a pretty acrobat named Laurel. The Hunchback wasn't just a clown. He also played the role of the company doctor. It was strange that the same people who kicked and punched him would turn to him for treatment. But no one knew who the real doctor was. One night, something terrible happened at the circus. Barnaby, the circus presenter, had just introduced the beautiful Laurel to the audience when a rope snapped, and she fell. The Hunchback rushed to her side, but a doctor in the audience said her bone was crushing her lungs, and they needed proper tools. The Hunchback asked for his pocket watch, and with surprising skill, he reset Laurel's bone, saving her life. The young doctor was amazed and said the Hunchback wasn't just a clown. But Barnaby wasn't happy. He thought the Hunchback's knowledge was wasted in the circus. As Laurel was taken away, the Hunchback asked the doctor's name, Victor Frankenstein, but nobody gasped because he wasn't famous yet. Once outside the tent, Barnaby angrily dumped all the science books in a puddle. He didn't like the Hunchback dreaming of a different life. Barnaby put the Hunchback back into his room, which turned out to be a cage. When asked about Laurel, Barnaby was cruel and mocked the Hunchback's feelings. But Victor, determined to break free, returned with magic tricks, cracking open the padlock using a magnet. The poor clown and the doctor found themselves in trouble. Barnaby, the angry circus boss, was right behind them, shouting threats for stealing circus stuff. He gathered more people to chase them. The crowd wasn't sure if it was real or just another show until Victor set fire to the tent. Reaching the arena, they were surrounded. But, by the time Barnaby arrived, they seemed to vanish into thin air. The observant clown knew the secret passageway used by magicians. Now, alone in the streets of London at night, the poor man was scared. He'd never been outside the circus. Grateful for freedom, he didn't know what to do. Victor took him to his new home, a mad scientist's lab. Victor didn't free him out of kindness. He needed an assistant. The former Hunchback was pre-trained and cheap, a dream employee. Victor grabbed him, inserted a giant needle into his back, and removed an untreated abscess from 18 years. Painful and disgusting, but it was over. Now, the ex-Hunchback missed Barnaby. Victor ran towards him, pushing him against a pillar, violently correcting his posture. He needed a back brace. Victor pointed vaguely at a guest room, saying he'd be in the basement. Before leaving, he mentioned the roommate, Igor, a morphine addict rarely home. The clown was now Igor, saving a good identity. With much to learn about hygiene, Igor, after a shower and shave, looked charming. Back at the circus, Inspector Turpin discussed the case with his apprentice, Alistar. Barnaby's account was mostly untrue, especially about Victor robbing and murdering. Turpin sensed self-defense, but ordered a wanted sign for murder. The good news? They were looking for a man with a spinal deformity. No way. They won't find anything at Victor's home. Just look at that fancy guy all dressed up. His host, Victor, is at school until dinner. Igor seizes the chance to check out London, swinging by the hospital to see how Laurel's doing. He's shocked at how the patients are treated. It's like they're all waiting for a nap. Igor jokes with the nurse about some fancy treatment ideas, throwing in a coin like he's already a big shot. Meanwhile, Turpin is hot on Dr. Frankenstein's trail. He learns that someone swiped animal parts from the zoo, and the same thing happened at the vet academy 6 months ago. Turpin tells Alistar to open a bag found at the circus grounds. Surprise, it's a lion paw. Victor must have heard about the lion's demise, making things extra spicy for the doctor. Turpin, a religious guy, is taking this case to heart. Later, Victor finds Igor in tears because their pics are all over town. Victor's cool, though. He tells Igor to cheer up. They're looking for the old Igor, not the new and improved one. During dinner, Victor teaches Igor some table manners and spills about his secret hobbies. The Royal College of Medicine is a bit boring, so he keeps a few side gigs. No biggie. Victor shows Igor an experiment. Eyes in jelly with funky equipment. Electric shocks make them come alive and blank. Igor's amazed, but he's got some pointers. Victor's super proud of his assistant, and their weird partnership begins. They dive into odd projects, bringing different organs back to life in the lab. After a breakthrough, they hit up a fancy restaurant to celebrate. Igor's shocked to see Laurel there. Took him a while to recognize her. She's stoked to see her old buddy. She's living with this rich baron, but here's the twist. She's his beard, whatever that means. It's like she's still on the market. When Victor joins the crew, he's all wasted, blabbering on about his genius, but no one's taking him seriously. She seems to be loving Igor's company. And when they get back home, Victor spills the beans about his wild experiment. Gordon's a mishmash of different animals, a chimpanzee mosaic, a real puzzle. Victor uses some of Igor's ideas without giving him credit. He reanimates this creature, and then he goes to the Royal College to show off. This guy Finnegan, a college rival, is there to watch. Victor messes up at first, and Finnegan's just chuckling. Laurel's there too, invited by Igor, but she looks disgusted. This wasn't the show Victor had in mind. In a mature reaction, not really. Victor starts punching and kicking the machines, giving Gordon another jolt. This time, though, Gordon isn't happy about being disturbed from his nap. He attacks the audience and bolts. Igor risks his life chasing him down. When they finally catch Gordon, Victor has to listen to Igor and end the project with a heavy object. After this mess, Igor hopes Victor will snap out of it. Nope, Victor's more determined than ever to make a big splash in his field. Adding salt to Igor's wounds, Finnegan shows up to apologize, impressed by their work. The rich boy is ready to pay big for more madness. Victor's all hyped about the funding, promising a fully functional human being. Igor tries to talk sense into the guy, but Victor's like, "Want to go back to eating dirt in a cage?" Inspector Turpin shows up after checking out Gordon's performance at the Royal College. He can't get into the lab without a warrant, but that just makes him more suspicious of Victor. They have a heated debate about religion, and Victor can't resist mocking Turpin's beliefs. Now Igor takes a walk with Laurel, and they chat about Gordon and the craziness that's going on. So, Laurel is uncomfortable with Victor's science stuff, and she thinks Igor should talk to him about it. Igor, feeling like he owes Victor everything, agrees to chat with his boss. When Igor gets home, surprise. Victor's dad is there with bad news. Victor got expelled from the Royal College. Mr. Frankenstein talks about Victor's younger brother Henry, who passed away in a tragic accident when they were kids. Victor feels really down. Eavesdropping Igor sees that Victor is deeply hurt by his dad's words. Feeling sorry for his friend, Igor forgets about his promise to Laurel and starts discussing the Prometheus project with Victor. They decide to build a creature for Finnegan, using whatever they can get from graveyards and more. One day, Victor shows Igor a pocket watch that belonged to his younger brother Henry. They were caught in a blizzard, and Henry didn't make it. Igor feels ashamed for doubting Victor's innocence. Time passes, and Prometheus is almost ready to come to life. Igor takes an evening off to dance with Laurel, and they spend the night together. The next morning, Igor's walk of shame turns dramatic when he sees a crowd outside Victor's house, led by Inspector Turpin. Turpin is trying to break down the door, so Igor sneaks in through the back to warn Victor. They decide to destroy all the evidence, but Turpin manages to get in. Victor overpowers him, but his hand gets caught in the machinery. Igor and Victor escape through a secret passage with a carriage waiting for them. Turpin sees them leaving, and a family crest on the carriage reveals it's from Finnegan. He offers his family's castle in Scotland as a hideout, but Igor refuses. Victor, angry and upset, says hurtful things to Igor, taking full credit for everything good about him. As soon as Victor leaves, Finnegan's goons jump Igor, tie him up, and put a bag over his head. Finnegan only cares about the resurrection technology and the power that comes with it. So, Igor, the little assistant with a conscience, is thrown into the river by the bad guys. But guess what? Growing up in a circus teaches you a thing or two. Igor breaks free and swims up like a champ. Laurel takes care of him, and when Igor sees Victor's pocket watch, he feels bad for his friend. He realizes being pals doesn't mean enabling Victor's crazy obsessions. Off they go to Scotland, where they find a guarded castle. Laurel distracts the guards while Igor sneaks past. Right outside, Turpin pops up, saying he lost his job because of that crazy day. He's still determined to stop whatever evil plans Victor might have. In the castle, Finnegan helps Victor with Prometheus, their crazy experiment. Igor and Turpin make it to the tower just before the lightning strikes. There's tension, but the creature starts breathing. Joy for Victor and Finnegan, but it doesn't last. The storm gets wild, the tower gets hit, and boom. Everything goes up in flames. Finnegan goes down, and the cage is empty. Prometheus is nowhere to be found. Prometheus, now a not-so-smart giant, doesn't like getting shot at. Turpin shoots, and the creature tosses Victor's dad over the edge. He goes after Turpin, and they have a little showdown. Igor mixes up some lore, grabs a steak, not for dinner, and surprisingly, it works. Victor reminds Igor about the second heart and takes care of it. When our hero wakes up, Laurel's by his side with a letter from Victor, a super long apology. And that's the end of the crazy tale. This was a recap of the 2015 movie Victor Frankenstein with James McAvoy and Daniel Radcliffe. So, what do you think Igor should have done differently? Let us know in the comments.